I'm Steve DeWinter, and I've been keeping a secret that's allowed me to earn a six-figure salary by writing fiction, write and produce a feature-length thriller film, write and produce a radio drama, and launch an interactive augmented reality adventure company. I've accomplished a lot and had a lot of success because of this secret, but I realized I was being selfish keeping it all to myself. So I've chosen to reintroduce this secret to the world. Before I tell you what my secret is, how about a little backstory first? We expect a lot from our artists. As humans, we desire new experiences, but we do not want them to be too dissimilar, or our brains will be unable to categorize the memories of what we are experiencing. So, how are you expected to write your one-of-a-kind original story without making the mistake of writing something that doesn't ring true with your audience's desire for familiarity? How can you create something new and familiar at the same time? That feels like an unrealistic and contradictory request. It's not easy to tell a clear and compelling story that connects with your audience. Regrettably, the numerous variations on what is essentially the same story structure framework make it appear deceptively simple, even while confusing the writer. You can quickly sketch out floor plans for a house on a napkin. You can also hold this drawing up to any building, apartment, office, treehouse, etc., and see how your design of walls, windows, doors, and a roof fit with each one. This must be the mysterious key that unlocks the secrets to constructing any building. But is it? Where should the electrical wiring go, and for that matter, the plumbing? What about the roof's supporting beams that keep it from collapsing? Where do they go, and when do you put them in? Sorry, but just like a home can't be built from napkin lines, a loose story structure and a zoomed-out, big-picture approach, I'm looking at you, three-act structure, will not help you write a clear and compelling story that your audience can connect with, because these broad overviews of a story structure lack the specifics writers need to turn a stack of blank pages into a clear and compelling narrative. To add to the confusion, these napkin sketch story structures don't help writers create unique and engaging stories because they're based on a specific story archetype, as in Western storytelling, or they focus on specific character archetypes, such as the hero, or they leave out the majority of narrative structure details and aren't presented to scale, i.e., they lack well-defined pacing. What is the writer to do? What happens next is the biggest and never-ending question in storytelling. All the big picture story structures tell you what happens down the way, but not what happens next. Don't you want to know what happens next? Returning to our construction analogy, while all buildings have walls, floors, and a roof, each one is distinct due to additional features that go beyond the basic structural needs. No builder would ever move all of the doors to the ceiling or exclude restrooms just to make their project stand out. However, I frequently observe writers focusing on reordering or deleting necessary structural components in an attempt to set their story apart from everyone else. Builders require precise architectural drawings in order to construct a building that is complete and will not collapse under its own weight. Don't you deserve a precise narrative specification document that outlines how the story will be structured and paced, as well as what narrative details will be included and where and when they will be presented? But didn't I already state that all of the big picture story structures you've seen up to this point have failed you? But don't worry, all is not lost. A story structure framework is available that includes everything you need to write a clear and compelling story that connects with your audience. Even better, it reveals what happens next in the story without coloring any details about your characters, settings, or other distinguishing features that makes your story interesting and unique and the story only you can write. Even though your characters, settings, and situations may be unfamiliar to the audience, these are the new. The story structure provides something recognizable with which they may easily connect. This is the familiar. And this is my secret. I call it the universal narrative structure. I hear you asking me, what if the story I want to tell doesn't fit into traditional Western perspective of Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, or doesn't focus on a single character story arc like Dan Harmon's Story Circle, or I don't want my protagonist to be likable by saving a cat. Despite its beat-by-beat precision, The universal narrative structure does not bind you to a predefined story archetype and is flexible enough to let you tell the story you want to tell, including but not limited to using multiple POV characters, flashbacks, flash forwards, events presented out of chronological order, ending the story on a cliffhanger, or even leaving the story's final resolution to the audience's imagination. You get to tell your story your way, while the universal narrative structure assists you in doing so in a clear and compelling manner that ensures a strong connection with your audience. But don't take my word for it. Because of its simplicity and versatility, the universal narrative structure has been around for a very long time. As much as I'd like to, I can't take credit for the universal narrative structure's underlying patterns. For tens of thousands of years, this same story structure framework has been passed down and shared across civilizations and cultures around the world. I'm simply bringing it back into the light and making it easily accessible to today's writers. The story, i.e. the script, is essential if comic books, novels, radio dramas, theatrical plays, television series, movies, video games, virtual and augmented reality, and other forms of entertainment we don't even know about yet are to even exist. And the success of each of these forms of entertainment rests entirely on the strength of the story. A good story can overcome all other obstacles, but nothing can make up for a bad story. So how do we construct that all-important narrative document? And how do we do it from nothing? Luckily for us, a good story does not come from nothing. It is built on a solid foundation. I've made the universal narrative structure a core component of my story school. But that isn't all I'm doing for you. You deserve more. I started off this video by telling you that I'm re-releasing my secret to the rest of the world. What I didn't tell you yet is that I've also decided it's time to give back by helping the next generation of creatives realize their full potential and achieve master storyteller status. So, every week for several hours, I'll be available to meet with you in person to help you transform your ideas into clear, compelling connections with your audience. You heard that right. I'll not only show you my secret on how to transform a blank page into a blockbuster story, but I'll also work with you in person to help you put these concepts into practice. This is a one-of-a-kind experience that you won't find anywhere else. Whether you want to write personal short stories for friends and family, or become a highly sought-after video game writer for AAA studios, or anything in between, Steve's Story School is the first step towards realizing your dreams. This is a new kind of community where you can hang out on our private mega yacht in the metaverse, mingle with other creative people like yourself, and forge friendships that are far more meaningful than anything you could ever hope to achieve by simply posting words on a scrolling message board. Isn't this just what you've been looking for? Why am I doing this? Why create yet another writing course? I know there are a lot of choices for writers, and there are a number of fantastic organizations that offer courses, but as I looked around, many seemed stuck in the old ways of the internet. They all offer lessons on video, which I also have, and the occasional pricey in-person workshops via Zoom. But they are all restricted to a small number of participants and priced in the hundreds of dollars. And none of them provide writers with ongoing in-person support. They appear to have adopted a set-it-and-forget-it strategy that leaves the learner to glean vital information from the video lectures on their own. Whether the student succeeds or fails at the end of the course enrollment period, all that's left for them to do is enroll in another multi-$100 course in the hopes that maybe that next one will provide the answers they seek. I'm starting the first Web3 writing community with a teaching library, ongoing in-person support for when you really need it, and a place for writers to meet and establish personal human connections beyond just posting words on a message board. Who knows, you might get the chance to work on projects you never imagined you'd have the opportunity to work on. This new school and community, however, is not for everyone. It's only for those who are serious about their writing and want to finish projects, i.e. novels, scripts, interactive video games, etc. I have to admit that I started my own school and community for selfish reasons. I also run an interactive augmented reality adventure company that is always in need of new content. So I decided to teach anyone interested in learning how to tell a great story so that I can have a steady supply of exceptional content to acquire for my company. However, the advantages of establishing Steve's Story School far outweigh my ulterior motives. I am also creating a community of writers who are serious about their craft. After all, who would you rather spend your time online with? Wannabe writers who joined a free online group to whine about how difficult it is to write? Or serious writers who are finishing projects and advancing their careers? So why am I charging a student alumni fee for membership in this new community? Well, for a variety of reasons. For starters, nothing in life is free, and managing and sustaining an online presence is costly. 2, I don't want to turn you, your personal data, or your online behaviors into the product I use to attract marketers or investors in order to provide a quote-unquote free service. I'm looking at you, Facebook. 3, I'd like to concentrate my efforts entirely on people who are committed to finishing projects, weeding out those who profess to be interested but have a variety of excuses for not doing so. Finally, I'd like to have enough resources on hand to invite industry leaders from the book publishing, film, and video gaming sectors for one-on-one interviews, expert panels, seminars, and workshops for our current students and alumni members. As our community grows, we will be able to afford the speaking fees for some of the biggest names in these fields. For a limited time, I'm offering a founder member discount. The regular student alumni membership fee is $19.99 a month, but if you act now and become one of our founding members, you'll get a 50% discount every month forever, or for as long as you keep your student alumni membership active and current. As I like to remind my wife in situations like this, it's only $20, but with a 50% off coupon, I'll be able to buy it with the money I've saved and pay nothing. She doesn't seem to get my reasoning. For the price of Netflix's cheapest plan, or even the cost of a single lunch for one person, you get an entire month's access to an on-demand tutorial, an instructional library, a growing network of like-minded creative people just like you, and in-person workshops to help you transform your ideas into marketable stories. And if you're not the traditional school type, think of this as a gym membership for your writing muscles. Enrolling in an online program, watching a series of videos during a limited window of opportunity, and then that's it, is not what Steve's Story School is about. This is about sticking around after you've completed your basic courses. I'll be adding new micro lessons on a regular basis, and meeting other people who share your passion for telling great stories. Those who have completed all of Steve's Story School's lessons are encouraged to visit our Metaverse Mega Yacht as often as possible to socialize with other students and alumni. At the very least, return often to check the calendar for newly posted upcoming events that you might be interested in attending. All of these extras are covered by your student alumni membership fee, and I want you to keep coming back for more. Are you ready to join your tribe? Then what are you waiting for? Use your founding member promo code to save 50% forever on your student alumni membership fee when you join us today. I'll be waiting for you on our Metaverse Super Yacht to help you transform that brilliant idea of yours into a marketable story.